How long did it take you to blueprint the ShotIQ system? Because it's a very comprehensive system. For people that don't know, if you go to Joel's website, ShotIQ.com, there's a whole series of things that you have to go through and steps. And I'm going to be honest, I didn't go through most of them.
Yeah.
I went through some of them and I kind of got the gist of it. But then talking to you, when you made me do the handwriting thing, I'm like, okay, now I understand what he's saying. Like, you have to be very specific about each individual fine motor skill that's involved in this. And I'm like, okay, I get it.
Yeah. I mean, it took me a lifetime. On December 14, 2014 is when I realized the decisions that were made to make those 2 shots successful and conscious. And that's right after that, I'm like, okay, how do I blueprint this? What decisions do I need to make? When do I need to make them, and how do I carry them out?
How did you go about mapping it out and writing this program? Because your program is so comprehensive. It seems like there was a lot of refining involved in this.
It basically, I mean, I shot those. It all comes back to those 2 shots because I'm like, okay, I said this at this moment, I said this at this moment, and I said this at this moment. And that was the mapping of the decisions. And then once you do that, then you just, how do you put this, where do you need to put the concentration? You need to put it in shot activation movement. How do you put it there? By talking, right? Or making a sound. Could you stop it? That's the test, right? You're not truly in closed loop if you couldn't stop it in the middle of it. And then what decision did I make? And those 4 questions basically encompass the blueprint. If you can answer those 4 questions, you know exactly how you did it. Then and only then can you repeat it, right? So, and like I put it in this analogy of the shot control house. So if you are about to shoot a shot and you know what this moment feels like, you're like, oh my God, this is going to happen, right? That bull's coming in, and it just turns broadside, or you're standing on the line in Vegas, you're like, okay, this is it. You are now on the porch of the shot control house, but you don't get inside because the door's closed. Your shot process lives inside the house. And so there you are on the porch. How do I get the door open? You got to decide, right? Decisions open doors in the shot control house. So I say to myself, I'm shooting this shot with control no matter what. Because it used to be, I'm going to shoot this shot perfectly or not at all. But that was a bailout. Remember the letdown thing, right? That was a bailout. That gave me that option of letting down. I don't say that anymore. Now it's, I'm shooting this shot with control no matter what. Because no matter what is a determined statement that we use in everyday speech. Yeah? So I'm shooting this shot with control no matter what. Door opens, right? And then you drawing your bow back as you stepping through the door. The first room that you walk into is the aiming room. And everybody wants to stay in there. That's where all your buddies are, right? Like, hey, Joe, what's up? Stay in here with us, right? There's all kinds of crazy. There's disco balls and all kinds of things going on in there. And you're like, man, this is pretty cool. I think I'll just have a seat on the couch. And that's what most people do is they sit on the couch in there and they never get out of the aiming room. So what I want people to do is get your aim done quickly. Don't be bringing your pin up from the bottom or down from the top. You shouldn't be able to tell me what position or what direction your pin comes from. Just stick the damn thing on the target and then watch it to keep it. So don't linger in the aiming room, right? Don't look at the pictures on the wall. Don't sit on the couch. Don't talk to anybody in there. Just put on the blinders and walk through the room.
Why watch it to keep it?
Because that's how visual proprioception works, right? You watch the system and it will automatically center itself. So you just watch the picture and it will stay in the middle. Yes, it's going to move around, but whichever way it moves, its next movement is always back to the center. Right? So you don't need to talk to anybody in the aiming room. That's going to happen, right? Just walk through it. So you, on a hinge release, you rolling to the click, right? That is you closing the door. In fact, that click that it makes is not the click on the release. That's the click of you closing the door on the aiming room, right? So now you're out of that room. You don't have control of what happens in that room, but man, it sounded so fun in there, right? So your mind wants to go back in there and check on it. So you don't let it go back in there. You lock that door with "Here I go," right?
But you're still looking at where you want to hit.
Sure. Oh, yeah. You should keep watching the picture. It's like you're looking in the aiming room, but you're not in the room anymore. You're looking through the window, right? You're keeping an eye on things in there, but you don't really have control of what goes on in that room anymore. So you lock the door with "Here I go." "Here I go" also opens the door on the concentration room, right? But here's the problem. The concentration room is on fire. How much determination would it take for you to walk into a room that's on fire knowing that you're going to get burnt? For most people, it takes a loved one in that room, right? The task is no different. Walking into the room is no different. The task itself is the same, but your determination level is different, right? You have a loved one in that room. Now your determination to get in there and save that person is through the roof, right? That's the determination that has to be manufactured for you to walk into the concentration room, right? And when you walk in there, here's the other bad part about it. You're getting burnt constantly. When's this thing going to go off? Oh my God, it's a 7x7. I'm going to be a hero. Cam Haines is watching me, right? You've got all these thoughts that are coming in, and you can only walk through that room slow enough you could stop your step. Anywhere within it. All the time you're getting burnt, right? So that's why you have to be the loudest one in the room, because to do that, to walk through a room slowly while you're getting burnt, you would have to concentrate on your movement, right? And that's where you got to talk yourself through your walking. That's you rolling through that hinge, right? Pull, or roll, or whatever you say to yourself to direct your concentration. So there you are, and you're working through that, getting burnt the whole time, but you're the loudest one in the room, and pop, it breaks. That's you jumping out the back door of the house. Right? When you knock another arrow, you got to walk around to the front yard and you got to step up on the porch again. Right? You don't, all the doors close in the house. So you got to make the same decisions to get through the door. But what I want for people is I want them to kick everybody out of the aiming room. Right? Because the more you do it, the more that you just put your pin on it, done with it. The more you do that, the more you walk through that aiming room, the less and less people there are, right? And then all the pictures come off the wall, all the furniture's gone, right? It becomes a blank room. You still have to walk through it, but there's no distractions in there anymore, right? And then ultimately what I want you to do is I want you to blow the door off, the front door. I want you to put an explosive charge on that sucker and turn it into splinters. Because when I shoot in front of you, I don't have to go, okay, I'm going to shoot this shot with control no matter what. Because that's a principle by which I live, right? I don't have a front door on my shot control house. I step right up on the porch and I walk right in. That's where I want people to be. There is no mystery to this house anymore.
And it's important to do this every time you practice.
Yeah.
It's not just something you do in the moment, like, oh, I got to remember what the steps are.
No.
You have to do this when you're practicing.
You practice making decisions. You practice your concentration, right? And you practice the true skills of precision shooting. You don't just practice your shooting. You're practicing your concentration through shooting.